Hey guys, this is Coach Lowe, and this is Contextual Geometry. We are in Chapter 3, Section 2 with angle measure. All right, so let's talk about how to measure angles. There is a postulate called the angle measure postulate that says for every angle there's a unique positive number between 0 and 80 called the degree measure of an angle. So angles are measured in degrees. And we know that if we draw an angle, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday in 3.1, that when we draw an angle is made up of two rays and they meet, their endpoints meet, and it's called the vertex of that angle. So here we have angle ABC, vertex is B, sides are ray BA and ray BC. And this angle has some angle measure, we'll just call it N, since I'm not measuring it with a protractor, and it's measured in degrees. All right, so we can use a protractor, and that looks like this guy right here. We can use a protractor to measure angles, and that's exactly what we will do on this next part. The postulate says, the protractor postulate says, on a plane, if we're given a ray AB and a number r between 0 and 180, there's exactly one ray with endpoint A extending on each side of AB such that the degree measure of the angle formed is r. All right, so in English, here's what that says. If I have a ray, and they're calling it AB, let's see if I can get a ray drawn here. So there's a line segment. Let's make it a ray. How do I make it a ray? I'll just add an endpoint there, and there's, an arrowhead there. So I have an endpoint here, and I have ray AB, and it's saying, okay, I can draw an angle. I did not want to do that. Here we go. I can draw an angle here. So I line up the point of my protractor, the end point here with the center of my protractor. See that that's 0 degrees, line straight up with 0 degrees. And then as I follow out across ray AB, it goes right to 0. So as I measure an angle, let's say that I want to draw a 120 degree angle, I'm starting here at 0. Because my ray goes out to the right through 0. Let me get this lined back up. I moved it a little bit. Okay, there we go. And so as I move around and I look, 120 degrees is here. So I'm following along the numbers at the bottom. So ray AB goes out to the right. I find 0 out to the right, and I follow those numbers that are on the bottom semicircle. I go to 120 and I make a dash here. Now I will connect from the end point. Please just move, thank you. I will connect from the end point A through that point, that little mark that I made, and now I have an angle that measures here 120 degrees according to my protractor. I can do that with any angle measure between 0 and 180. Now, maybe you say, well, okay, Coach Lowe, what happens if the ray is going the other direction? That's all right. We do not even care. So let's draw one where the ray is actually going in the other direction. And let's get our protractor back out here. And let's say that now, let's just go ahead and make an angle. Let's say now that my angle, let's make it really wide. It's very obtuse. Remember, we have to say it with that deep voice, don't we? All right, so let's get our protractor out here. And we are going to move this so that the crosshairs are on that end point right there, the vertex of my angle now. And then I can see that I'm moving to the left to look at 0. I will use the top numbers this time to measure. So I'm all the way over here at 150 degrees, and it looks like 152, kind of maybe 152.5 degrees. All right, so cool. Hopefully that makes sense on how to use a protractor. I will let you guys try that out tomorrow. Notice that straight up and down, if I made a mark here and connected back to the vertex, this would be 90 degrees. And then all the way across makes that straight angle that we talked about yesterday in 3.1, makes the straight angle all the way across, which would be 180 degrees. Awesome sauce. All right, so you should be able tomorrow to measure angles, classify them as acute, obtuse, or right. So let's talk about that super quick. I'm not going to take up much more of your time here. A right angle will be one that measures 90 degrees. So when you put that protractor down and you line that bad boy up, right there at the center, you notice this angle measure here to the left is 90 degrees, but also the one on the right is 90. So we have perpendicular line segments here, don't we? These line segments are perpendicular. They form two 90-degree angles. All right, so that's an awesome thing. Angles that measure less than 90 degrees are acute. Angles measuring more than 90 degrees are obtuse. So if you need to jot that down somewhere, go ahead and pause the video and jot that down, or back it up if you need to. So you should be able to draw angles for me tomorrow and be able to classify them as well. And you should be able to measure angles that are given. So good job, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. This is Coach Lowe, and I'm out.